Well, if you clicked on today's video, you know we are making some Asian-inspired beef meatballs. Welcome to the Silly Kitchen. I hope you're gonna enjoy this recipe, and most of all, I hope you're gonna try it at home. We need a few ingredients. Don't be nervous. If you do any kind of Asian style cooking, you probably have a lot of this stuff in your cupboard already. But I have about a pound of lean ground beef, maybe a little more than a pound. And then there's some other ingredients. We need some ground ginger, 4 cloves of minced garlic, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, sesame oil, honey, and some minced ginger, and some SMP if you would like. So we are gonna do all of this recipe here, both the sauce and the meatballs, before we head over to the stove top, because we're gonna try to get this done in one pan. Sauce and meatballs all in one. Are you ready? Let's get this beef seasoned. So first things first, I'm gonna try to open this, a touch of sesame oil on top of here, not too much. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of ground ginger. I actually have 4 cloves of garlic here, so half of it is going into my meat mixture, and the other half we're gonna save for the sauce. I'm gonna season with some salt and pepper. Use as much or as little as you want. And I'm actually gonna add a little bit of soy sauce in here too. Not too much, just a little touch. You guys know, if you've seen this show before, I don't really do a lot of measuring. Everything's kind of by the eye. If I say tablespoon this, tablespoon that, take it for what it is. You can always add a little more or a little less. When it comes to this type of cooking, it is your palate, it is your flavor, it's whatever you want. Okay, that's it. That's all we need in here. Let's get this mixed up. All right, now I'm gonna get my hands dirty, and while we mix up all these beautiful flavors, which you do wanna work quite a bit because we don't want one meatball to have a ton of garlic and another meatball not to have any garlic. So this is where you do need to spend a little bit of time working those flavors in together. I find by hand is the best. And that's just my method. I actually normally use gloves when I'm handling raw meat because like sometimes it gets in your nails and then you're scrubbing your hands forever getting everything out. But I ran out of gloves. Side note. Now the other thing that you might be thinking is, well, Sylvia, you didn't add any binder to this. You didn't add an egg or breadcrumbs or anything like that. Well, you can add an egg in there if you'd like. You can add breadcrumbs if you'd like, but you don't need to. So I'm not going to. Once you feel like you've given this a really good mix, all you gotta do is now make your meatballs. And all I do is take little chunks like this and just roll it with both hands to make a nice kind of tight meatball. And this is where you get to decide, do you want 1-bite meatballs? Do you want 2-bite meatballs? Do you want a ginormous meatball? I don't want a ginormous meatball. I like a bunch of little moderate meatballs. I think that's kind of the way I want to do it, because I find that the smaller the food is, the more I have to eat. It's not really, because quantity is quantity. It's the same amount of beef. But if I get to have 3 meatballs instead of 2, it kind of makes me happier. All right, so I'm gonna keep making these. Let's see how many we get out of the size that I like. Okay, I rolled all my meatballs. 4, 8, 16, 19 weird shaped meatballs. I'm just kidding. They're mostly all the right shape, just not all the exact same size. And that's how I like it. Okay, before we cook those, let's make our sauce. So the rest of that garlic, so 2 garlic cloves, minced, go into our sauce. I am going to do a tiny bit of sesame oil again. I am going to do soy sauce. Again, just a big touch of that. We need a bunch of that. We need ginger, but not the powdered kind this time. We want the minced kind out of a jar, which I'm low on, so it's about a tablespoon and a bit. Or grate it yourself, that's also lovely. This is me cheating because I had some of that ginger. The other thing is hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce is nice and thick and sweet, and this one has actually garlic infused flavor in here as well. Boom, so this is looking good. And for additional sweetness, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is with honey. Did I get any on me? This is my new apron. I don't want to get it dirty yet. You really got to clean honey in order for it to open again because it gets so sticky. Give me a second. Got it. Okay, now keep in mind, hoisin sauce is already sweet. And because I have clean fingers and this is all for me, I can lick my fingers in the silly kitchen. What I was gonna say is hoisin sauce is already a bit sweet, so you don't need a ton of honey, but I like a little bit, just to make these sweet and savory meatballs. That's what I like. Give it a little mix. It's gonna be a bit thick, but not hugely thick. And I think we are now ready to go cook this. First things first, let's heat up our pan and give it a bit of an oil while we wait for it to warm up. You know the pan is nice and hot when you hear that sizzle. Let's get all these meatballs in. Miraculously, they all fit in one pan. Now we do need to wait 3 or 4 minutes on one side before we start flipping. I love seeing that nice crust because it hit a hot pan. That's why you need to always wait to make sure that you give your pan time to heat up. Once both sides of your meatball is crispy, we want to turn down the heat to medium. And let's cover it to get all that heat in the pan, to stay in the pan and cook the meatballs. Now it's been about 6 to 8 minutes here, and I know the inside of these meatballs are probably not done yet, but that's okay. Now is the time that we put in our sauce. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of liquid here because some of the fat from the beef and some of those juices from the soy sauce have cooked out. You can go ahead and take that out if you don't want that little bit of extra juice and fat, but I am going to leave it in as I pour in that sauce mixture that I made. And I'm gonna purposefully put it on top of my meatballs as well as all in the pan. Now you can hear the pan got nice and quiet because the sauce is cold. The pan now needs time to warm up again. But I'm gonna leave the pan uncovered so that some of this moisture also cooks out. And we're gonna see what happens next. As I leave my pan open, you can see the sauce start to bubble, and some of that moisture is coming out of the pan, and this glaze is going to, I guess this sauce is gonna turn into more of a glaze as we let the moisture come out. Unlike many of my recipes, this one does need a little bit of patience. In order to get that sauce nice and thick, you do have to wait and let it reduce and let some of that extra moisture come out. But once that happens, you can build a mountain of meatballs, as I'm doing right now, because y'all know I love food photography. That is part of what I do for a living. So I have to make a mountain of meatballs, and I gotta make this look good. So let's hurry this up, Sylvia. Let's get these meatballs on a plate, all pretty and beautiful, and hopefully not falling over too much. So far, so good. Oh, all those years playing Tetris, I'm telling you, it helps. Oh, one went sideways. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, how's my mountain? Looking good? How's my mountain? I'm gonna go with that it looks like a beautiful mountain of meatballs. Now, do not let this sauce go to waste, my people. You are gonna pour that all over your mountain of meatballs. When you make this type of meatball with that Asian and sesame and soy flavor, a really great pairing for this would be some rice, some really nice fried rice, or just even some basmati rice would be good with this, because then you can pour all this sauce all over the rice as well. I also really like making a warm cabbage slaw that has those same types of sesame flavors. I do have a recipe for that, probably here, but I will link it in the description of the video as well, because it's perfect for this. That is some saucy meatballs. What I also want to do, because I'm making it pretty, is I'm going to add a little bit of dry parsley flakes. You can use green onion, anything green really that makes sense. Green onion would be great, parsley flakes. I don't know, what else is green? I'm also going to add little white sesame seeds on top, because beautiful contrast. We have those sesame flavors in the sauce and in the meatballs, so it works perfectly together. As I drop sesame seeds, because I did it too high and they're all over the place. If you want to change it up from your Italian style traditional marinara type meatballs, give these beautiful Asian infused flavorful meatballs a try the next time that you're in the mood for a dish like this. Thank you for coming by to the Silly Kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you enjoy lots of recipes, and check out thesillikitchen.com. I've got everything there, as well as on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, that'd be cool too. Thank you again, and I will see you soon.